This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
Well, that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a very big warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend podcast. This is the Irish special, the Guineas, the two Guineas this weekend. Myself, Lee Keys of systembet.co.uk, and as always, John Leng, who was in splendiferous form last weekend on the sermon discussing the Magnolia Cup. Let's hope he's... And also, I should mention, John last week decided to turn into blogger and stallion molded into one. And he absolutely nearly smashed it, didn't you, John?
Yeah, I think we took the field winners, but couldn't believe it, you know. I was sick of shouting lift him on by the end of the afternoon. I thought I was going to get a ban off Twitter.
There was one fella, I think he posted it on Twitter, and he actually said that he'd done all yours in an acca, and obviously the first one went down, so he'd stopped watching, and last six won.
Serves him right, lazy bastard.
I mean, it's, you know.
I say it serves him right, lazy bastard. Should have left that one out.
I think his username was Beachy Head.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that one.
Anyway, but yeah, a cracking weekend last week from you, both on the tipping front and on the sermon. We've got some more questions to start the show off before we get onto the pink button section, and we've got about half a dozen questions, quite entertaining ones as well. And I'll start off with a sort of weather-related topic, because obviously this weekend's going to be absolutely deluged with bog ground. And JCC Punter on Twitter asks a question, and he says, John, how does your approach differ when punting in weather conditions like these? Is there anything else you take into account further to a horse's form, you know, like on soft heavy? What do you do, John?
Well, obviously, you're looking mainly for horses that you can be sure will perform on that surface. But also, I tend to look for horses that I consider to be uncomplicated and have a bit of bottle as well, because they can have all the main action you like. If they're absolute fannies, there's not a hope in the world for them on a really attritional surface, you know. I also sometimes take into account who's riding them as well. Certain courses you can't get too far behind, even if they've shown a potential hold-up bias in the past, you know. When it rides ultra soft, sometimes you need to be a bit nearer, you know, so yeah, you maybe have to be a bit wary of your Spencers and your Simcock trained horses, things like that, you know.
Interesting you say this, because I did some stats a while ago, so I'm not going to say it in stone because I could be wrong on this, but I'm sure I did some stats a while ago on jockeys on heavy ground, and Spencer was one of the worst on heavy, which kind of goes in with your like you say, it's probably you can only make ground slower. Like if you're a speed horse or you're ridden for a turn of foot, then surely you would make ground slower from the back than what you would if it was quick. Yeah. And like you say, the old sluggard on the front end, you know, the pivotal, and that this is my point of view to JCC was what I tend to do is I look on both sides of the pedigree. What did the mother like? What's the dam side like? What's the sire side like on it? And I do my research that way to come up with bets to say, well, I've got the right angles for this. That this horse has never raced under these conditions. Now it's the Sindar mare coupled with the I think I got soft ground sire, fast company on the sire side, whatever. But that's basically how I formulate my bets. But you make some pertinent points there, because I also think as well, a jockey's strength might come into it on heavy ground more, because on fast ground where they're floating off it, on heavy ground, it needs a bit more agriculture. Would you agree with that?
I think sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
And on other occasions as well, you don't want someone that's going to pull them about too much. I think it can be like 6 and 2 3s, I mean, you'd never recall Wally Swinburne, a powerhouse. I'd have backed him against most to get one round in good shape, really, in bad ground, simply because he would get them travelling and not have to ride them about so much,
Yeah.
But, I mean, as I say, it's 6 and 2 3s, that, really. Sometimes they make carrying round.
Good question there, JCC Punter. Hope we answered some of the ways that we look at things when the ground gets tested, like this weekend. Next question is from Pip Larkin and Carl Swanson, both up on take issue on the same topic. Following the Martin Dwyer discussion on the last Sunday's sermon, what are your thoughts on the 7-day ban Jason Watson received for his ride at Nottingham this week, John?
Absolute pig shit, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the bloody thing's first time out. It's of no consequence to a single punter in the country. The only people that's asked about it is Charlton and the owner, and possibly Jason Watson. And actually, I have my doubts about that. And the stewards are coming down on this like a ton of bricks. What are they doing? They're just, trying to tell everybody that they're there. Look at us, that we are here, we're actually doing something, we're doing something other than draining the park decanter. For God's sake, I mean, nobody ever monkeys how their arse finished off, and there we are, we're getting that.
I mean, watching it back, as I said, I'd put it as an eye catcher, obviously, but at the same time, you're talking, these people have invested money in horse training. It's first time out, blah blah blah, and he's basically looked after the horse, and I don't see an issue with this. I mean, put it this way: if you're doing Jason Watson for that, you'd be doing every single trainer and jockey for getting them handicapped in the mid-50s and 60s, because everyone's playing the game.
All right, then. You ask them this question, don't you? Like, you say, what have you actually done him for there? And they'll say he hasn't achieved the best possible placing. And then you say back to them, well, why the bloody hell are you telling all jockeys in the Grand National once your chance is gone, pull
up? Brilliant. Never thought of it like that. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. What an analogy that is. That literally is a great comparison, because, like you said, they're frightened to death of the average Joe public going berserk, trashing a horse that's beaten. And like you say, if basically you're that far behind, or you've got no chance of winning, sometimes it's better just to. And I've seen this when they're in 4th and 5th place. I've seen them ease off and not bother.
Watson's in a no-win situation there the other day, right? He gives it a couple of dabs with a duster, right? Animal aid get on. What's he doing there? Oh, shit, yeah, never realised that. Ban him.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, yes or no answer, John. Yes or no answer. If that's Frankie Dettori and John Gosden, what happens?
Not hoping I'll have any sort of banner action.
It's right, isn't it? It's absolutely none. No, nil. It's just because it's Jason Watson. He's not at the top table, and Roger Charlton's probably not at the top table. In all fairness, even though he's a damn good trainer, and that's where you're at. And I think that's it. They will do nothing to the top table. Nothing. They only had to do something with the Havlin escapade because it was that embarrassing that they had to. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done anything there either. If there would have been the public outcry, I don't think they'd have done anything.
Yeah.
But Anyway, that's a great question, Pip and Carl Swanson. Moving on, another they love you at the minute, John. So John nominated Duran Fentiman as basically as his top jockey as he can follow instructions, and also rated Thick Dave for the same reason in a previous pod. However, what about jockeys who show guts and initiative when a race is obviously not going to plan? How many times, say in small fields, is a horse whose main angle, when he's being dropped out and the pace is slow, they don't bother changing tactics, and then surprise, surprise, the prominent runners win and the dropped out horses never get there. That's from 08 Ubic on YouTube. We've got good YouTube listeners, so thank you, YouTube. John, thoughts on jockeys? Basically, who would you say? I mean, have jockeys got any initiative? Any jockey, or are they all pretty the same?
Duran, if things weren't going to plan, I'd expect him to come back and explain what he's done. I wouldn't say he'd be handcuffed to the instructions. I mean, if it's all physically possible, he'd follow them, but he wouldn't follow them to the detriment of a horse's chance. No, Dave, really. I've said Duran probably have the edge on the initiative. Out of the others, I think then you need to get in among with the top boys if you're looking for tremendous initiative. I mean, I'll give you an example in bad weather. I think it was 1987 when Reference Point won the Derby. Stout ran out called Ascot Knight in the race, and then it went to the Juddmonte International, and it pissed down all day, really. And I know for a fact the instructions to Wally Swinburne were stick to the inside, make him move like toe and a half down, and he actually went completely the other way. And he tight on the far railings all the way down the back straight, looking for a better ground because it was appalling that day. And he didn't even tell the trainer before he went out. So I mean, that was a bit of initiative out the back of the hand. I think the horse was about 8 or 9 to 1 as well. It run second. It was only triptych baited. It beat everything else quite comfortably, really. So it was a smart move.
I do think some of the top jocks do have that in them. To be able to. It's a bit. It's like everything. I mean, say you're a youngster, you walk into a nightclub, and you've not been in many nightclubs, so you're a bit green. You're a bit, you're sort of a bit nerved up. Where do I order my drink? Where do I sit? Where do I dance? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's same with jockeys. I reckon. Once they've been around the block so many times, you get more balls to be able to say, I'm going to say bollocks to your tactics. I'm doing this, and I think that's it. I think the problem is when you're trying to make a name for yourself, you don't go against instructions. So if you get told to sit handy, then you sit handy, or if you get told to hold it up, you hold it up. And I just think it's like that through life. It's same in life situations where like you said, if you go to an establishment 50 times, you know what to do. Aye. It's not a siren, John Nolan, but it's it's different. But yeah, So for that reason, I just think it's down to experience. It's like you said, Piggott would completely do his own thing,
Absolutely.
As we've touched on before, with that ride, like you said, on a pass show on Saddler's Hall, where he was instructed.
Don't knock him about, unless there's had a bet, so goes past the post halfway up the horse's neck. Yeah.
and that's my point, that you're not going to get a jockey that's had, say, 60 or 70 or 80 rides or whatever. A good young promising pilot, for example, he's not going to do that because he's not at that stage to do that.
No.
He's not pardon my French, get ready for this, censor this, but he's not at fuck you status. He can't just say, like, who was the jockey that said fuck you and Duffield? Was it? Who was it?
Yeah, it was marvellous, wasn't it?
Was it Rod
Sills, mate, wasn't he? Raul de Silva.
Raul de Silva? Yeah.
Fuck you, Andy.
I mean that's how. When you get to Raul de Silva level, you can say fuck you and Duffield. I bet he would have said that to George though in his prime.
George would have took him out.
George had just flattened him in second. Yeah.
If you heard him say that to Annie, it took him out, actually, wouldn't it?
Yes. Right, we'll move on to the next question. We've just got the. We've got 3 left. It's a busy show. So, leading on from jockeys, Prideaux Boy on YouTube said, "Is there any jockeys, jumps or flat, that you would never touch?" And I'm guessing he's coming from a naughty angle, John. Who do you get nerved up at when you're putting a bet out or you're wanting a big bet? Who nerves you up the most?
Haley Turner.
Yeah.
I would definitely not. Well, I was going to say never touch. I think you can have these rules and you always end up breaking them. And then, you'll say, "Oh, I'll never back in anything he has," and then one day you find, "Oh shit, I've backed that," and he's on it. Because you can't keep rules like that in your head all the time, Sometimes the horse just gets too sexy with its profile and that you want to be on, and if you've been waiting since the 4-day forfeit and then you hardly took any notice out of jocked up, it can happen. And then the next thing you know, you're 5th or 6th, tending on the fence and kicking yourself up the arse for backing it.
Yeah.
Haley Turner would be one. I tell you who used to be terrible for me, Steve Brown. Absolutely appalling. God almighty. He was one I basically tried to avoid at all costs. I could not get a ride out of that fella at all.
Yeah.
You got your usuals, Perham, he was terrible.
Jockey coach.
I think he was just terrible, full stop. I don't think it was terrible because I backed him.
Yeah.
I think he was just rubbish. But I wouldn't say it was a big list.
For me, currently riding, John, it'd be got to be Tom Quealy because obviously the Barney connection, and it's amazing how he got the Cecil job because to ride the greatest flat racehorse of all time, and then you're still riding now and you're stopping them for marks. It's just I don't get it.
It's a bit tragic, isn't it? Really, it's like saying that Alan Mullery would have played in the 1970 Brazil World Cup team. It's that, isn't it? That's the
it's
that's the golfing class.
Yeah. It's amazing about Tom Quealy, really. How he got on Frank. I still say this, with a pilot on Frank, I think it had done even better. Because he gave Frankel, it might have been 3 shocking rides.
Well, he nearly got it bait up really Ascot, didn't he?
Oh, that was. That last race at Ascot, I just. There was 2 races at Ascot. He nearly got it beat.
Well, there was SGP when it was a 3-year-old, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And he chased the pacemaker from about 6.5 furlongs out.
Yeah.
And then the last day, I think the horse had just started taking the piss out of him a bit, hadn't it? And
probably worked him out.
Yeah, and got itself left, didn't it? And was hanging a bit. And, oh God, it could have all ended badly, couldn't it? Just because Quealy was on it. You could have nearly pulled Leicester out of retirement at late 70s, couldn't you? And or a bit better, you know.
He just needed someone to sit on, didn't it? I mean, but anyway, I mean, yeah. So that's more or less covered that off. With two more questions before we get on to the meat of the weekend. And Quentin Franks, good friend of ours, has messaged in, and he said, 24 or 48-hour decks. What's best for racing punters, John? What would be your preference and why?
Well, now, so the racing punters, for us, when we're doing this, the 48-hour decks.
Yeah.
For everything else, 24, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the 48-hour decks are just bloody useful if you happen to be recording a podcast the night before racing. You know, I mean, it gives you that extra time. You know, I mean, otherwise we'd have been from dinner time probably unable to have a bet because we're studying Saturday's cards. And that's assuming they come through on the racing course side. So, yeah, while we're podding up, yes, 48 hours, but if we're punting, 24 hours. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, I totally concur. Totally concur with that. Can't really add anything. So so Quentin, that's where me and John stand on that. One final question is from Councillor Andrew Woodman. We have a councillor listening to our show. Sadly for you, John, he's a Tory councillor, so this is met with disdain from your end. John's refusing to answer this one. With the tracks talking about taking legal action against owners of drones flying over racetracks, is it time they looked at providing live pictures for an affordable premium fee to level the playing field, John? Is it time?
I think it's way past time, to be honest. I mean, I've never been able to really understand why racing didn't do a lot of things when media rights was up for grabs and everything. At the time, racing really should have launched its own channel, its own betting exchange, and relaunched the tote. All under their own umbrella. Especially the pictures. And it should have been a case of talking to the courses and saying, well, you won't be racing under the rules of racing unless we have your picture rights. So you're out on your own, you raise your own funds, and anybody that races horses are akin to flapping and will be warned off. So, you know, that's how you negotiate with these people. You don't leave many wiggle room whatsoever.
No.
And that's how you end up with what would hopefully be a vibrant sport with several streams of income, including from your own betting exchange. Because I'm sure exchange punters would rather actually punt on the site that profits were going back into racing rather than like Betfair, where, you know, and you don't have to mirror Betfair. You know, you don't have to do anything special or out like that. You know, I mean, how much would it cost to get an IT wonk in to do that? And you're up and running, you're away.
The thing is, it's like every cartel, you know, from Pablo Escobar, drug dealers in Colombia, you know, back in the day, to everything else. Once there's a cartel, as in the tracks, that are taking fortunes in box-paying customers to obviously, you know, provide basically live pictures and bet to live pictures when everybody else hasn't got them. Yeah. The only solution to upset the cartel, which is they're clearly upset because they're making stupid noise saying that they can sue people that are flying drones over their racetracks. Well, the fact is they can't, because if you're not flying the drone over their land, if the pilot is CAA certified, and secondly, if they're flying the drone or takeoff from private land, there is absolutely zero, and I'll say this to all tracks, zero they can do. Now it doesn't. Now they've tried all the bully boy tactics. Arena brought the guys out with the baseball bats. They're ringing the police all the time. They're wasting police time. Police turn up. There's nothing they can do by law, so they just turn up. It's just a hassle, and they're doing that so that they retain the box income. Now the way that you do this is carry on with the drones. Carry on, because what that will do, that forces the entire game to shift finally and say, right, well, there's obviously a demand for in-running pictures. That's why this illegal, or they say illegal operation, which isn't illegal, it's legal, is carried on. So you basically carry that on and force them into doing something about it and making those pictures absolutely streamed at just latency live, the minimum latency possible for all in runners to play at home. And that is the solution. Simple as that in the short term. John's provided the long-term answer, which they'll never do because they're idiots. But that's the short-term answer, to basically force the tracks into action in terms of providing a level playing field. Right, we're going to go on to the pink button section now, John, after your success last week. It was just manic. I was so impressed. You just switched on a whim. You went from the old John Joe of the past to finding value, and you just thought, I can't find it, so I'm going blogger.
Incredible.
So we'll start the weekend off, not with the Irish Guineas. We'll save that till the last two bits. And we'll start off we'll start off with the old Seamus Buckley overwatered gas pit at Goodwood at 140, John, for the mile and 6 furlongs Mansion Bet, Watch and Bet handicap. And the 15 to 8, 2 to 1 favourite ish is Prince Alex of Rafe Ralph Beckett, the joint training team. John, any thoughts here?
Yeah, well, as much as I'd like to back the joint trainer team of Rafe Ralph, I was looking at one called Apparate here, but that's gone elsewhere. More about that later. Hockfield would probably be the one I was most interested in. We're on different races. I was jig these times around there or something. That
140 race, I think's there.
Yeah.
Is it on your decks? 8 runners: Prince Alex, Edserfield, Hockfeld, Hyanna, Just in Time, Amtiaz, Indigo Times, Newey St George.
Hockfield. It would be the one for me. I thought I had a pretty unlucky run now in Chester, and it fits the bill as far as I'm concerned.
Well, John, you've come with one there that was third in the Chester Cup, which I believe is form worth following. I think it's probably the most solid early season handicaps at strong form that you can follow, simply because the Chester Cup these days, you have to be rated. You have to be nearly a listed horse to get in the race these days. So it's kind of the race I like to follow for early season staying handicaps. And I'm a little bit worried about the testing ground. I know he's gone on it before. I know he's done all right, but he's better on, I think, on a sounder surface. But I can't really knock his selection, Hopfeld. I found the race a little bit tough, if I'm honest. Prince Alex is probably the right price because it's the one that's probably got in hand of the mark, but it is found in the market. The one I'd probably be against will probably be Amtiaz. I'm not so certain he'll handle the switching surfaces, but he's obviously 10 to 1, so I'm telling you nothing there. But John is pretty keen on Hockfeld to back up that Chester Cup run at approximately about 9 to 2, 5 to 1 chance, I believe we're going to be getting for that horse. We move on to the second race we're previewing, again on ITV4. It's an absolute bonanza on Saturday. And we go on to the Mansion Bet Beaten by a Head Festival Stakes. The Festival Stakes. That's important. Forget Mansion Bet. It's a listed race. And 9 to 4 favourite at the moment I can see on my tissue is Alzarakan of William Haggis. John, have you any view here?
I'm not entirely convinced this one's soft ground. To be honest, it's been very impressive on the sound surface. I know there was probably mitigation for the run at Newmarket on the soft as a 2-year-old. First time out, blah, 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 all the rest of it, but it's all the evidence we've got, really, so, you're going to have to class it as admissible evidence at the minute. Ron Priestley blew it away last time. Ron Priestley got blown away last time he ran. I think Desert Encounter is as good a shout as you can make in this, to be honest. I mean, really, him or Stormy Antarctic, both go pretty well on slop. Both are similar profiles age-wise, both similar prices. What can you do, I mean, have a spin-up or something, I mean, but I couldn't back the car anyway.
No, I share your concerns, and this ground can do a lot. No matter what you look on in the phone book, sometimes you'll look at us, and Al Zarakan is a really classy animal by Golden Horn out of a Chamadol mare, and Golden Horns aren't particularly great on softer ground, neither would a Chamadol mare be either. I looked at the race and felt, to be honest though, I'm a bit disappointed. The rag in the race, Winter Reprise, finished behind Desert Encounter at Sandown. Now, So everyone's saying, well, what are you tipping that for? Well, for me, I honestly think this horse wants it like a bog. It's out of a Kendall mare. It's by Inteller, and it literally looked to me. It did right. It's one of these horses. It keeps going. It's annoying. It keeps going like one of the little Jack Russells. It'll run after everything, and that's what I felt about this horse. And we're still in the saddle. I'm not saying it could be a boil over, but I am disappointed with the price because they're actually nibbling it. It was a bit. I think there was a bit of 20s around. I think that 16s is sort of there now, and it's like I was looking at sort of 25s. I'm thinking this could cause a boil over because this wouldn't be the hottest festival renewal that I've ever seen. So you've got a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, like you say, a favourite that might not handle the ground job, and then you've got one trained by Paul Cole that hasn't run for best part of 238 days. Well. Yeah, again, I just thought maybe 25s might be just kind of interesting, but we shall see on that one. John principally doesn't like the favourite. He likes Desert Encounter a bit, and I thought the rag, if they don't back it, we don't want them backing it in the morning because what's the point? The point of backing a rag is that the value's still there on the day, and we need a big price about the rag. I'm not sort of saying it's a strong bet. We need a price, so we move on. And we change meetings after that, Gas Pit in Sussex, and we go northwest to St Helens, where we've got Haydock, which is resembling that. Kirkland's made sure with his watering policy over the years that the going stick never reaches above 5 in the summer. And we start off with the 155 race, which is again on ITV4. It is the 7 furlong race, Kasuma Horse Racing and Sports Betting Handicap. Moll's Memory heads the market, John. About a 9-2 chance, trained by Ed Walker, ridden by Oshie. Have you any views on this?
Yeah, I do. I thought Tom Collins was very interesting in the first time check races. Was taken out the other week. I don't think he gave a reason. Might have been just self-cert.
Self-cert.
I thought this was because they were probably thinking the ground was getting a bit lively. I mean, they couldn't be sure, but read between the lines, I think that's what the track is.
Yeah.
Now, whether the ground's gone the other way, I don't know. But a motivator mare, I'm hopeful. And I'm hopeful that the fact that Agus did bother to take it out last week tells you it wasn't there just for a spin up. So it's had its spin up, and it's ready to rock now. Yeah, it's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, fancy the first skunk.
Yeah, so I think it's ready to roll now. I think 13 is a very solid option price-wise. And I think he's found a nice race here, really, because I think there's quite a few exposed sorts, So I'll be rocking along with Tom Collins.
For sure. And I see your reasoning there. And my selection in the race would be the Marco Botti trained Silver Samurai, who comes here off the back of a stall 12 draw over 7 furlongs at Chester. Not ideal, never ideal for anybody over 7 furlongs there. If you win from there, you're a group. And prior to that, decent form on the all-weather at Kempton, just getting touched off similar marks. And I just went back through this horse's form and saw that he beat Sunset Breeze, who currently is second favourite for Sir Mark Prescott, by 4.5 lengths, and now he's better off at the weights. I'm thinking, does this horse want is he a soft ground soup beast? Well, he's by Cable Bay out of a High Chaparral mare. So I think, yes, that screams to me soft ground. So Silver Samurai I thought was a little bit of value there at around the 16-1 mark. It is drawn wide, but the horse likes to be dropped in. So as long as there's a good pace and they go absolutely bananas, and Lincoln Park might do that. Tom Dascombe and Jane Elliott might ride it like John Wayne running from the Indians, John.
I'm sure Jane will be buzzed up and will be going for his hard style.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you my vision of that.
No, don't.
Anyway, sorry. I'm demeaning the show, sorry.
Tom will be sending her out maxed up, we know that.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my small shout there in the 7th fill handicap. The next race at Haydock, ITV4 love Haydock. They won't love it when they leave tomorrow because it'll be an absolute bog fest. 514 non-runners, 4-runner races by the time we get there. But we get to the 2-mile race at Haydock, and a bit of a bad thing for me. A Green Bookie's 7-2 favourite. I used to own this horse, but I got a quarter share in it, and it apparently just bolted up at Chester last time out under Franny, winning hard Eljon, 7-2 fab.
Hugely impressive. Ran as though a great weight had been lifted from the horse psychologically. I don't know what that was anything to do with. But yeah, ran really well and was impressive. Which hasn't really stopped me going to the runner-up that day, Postilio, who I thought didn't get the best of runs. Didn't get much of a run at all, to be honest. Stayed on, went second late. He's never going to get to the winner. I just think a more evenly run race round here. I think he gets a lot closer. He's out an Indian Ridge mare. He should handle it track and ground all right. Yeah. At the Sporting Pub.
I agree, to be fair. I mean, Green Book really did get his own way that day, and having owned the horse, I kind of know the horse, and he might have improved. They keep backing him like he's an 110 flat horse. They couldn't get enough on last time, and they're backing him overnight again here. What I would say is that he likes gears, but then he's a 2-mile horse. But the thing is, can he make all at Haydock over 2 miles like Chester? I'm not so sure. It's easier at Chester because obviously you're on the turn and horses have got to engineer positions, and all Green Book keeps doing is just galloping, which might suit. I mean, that again, you might think tomorrow, well, soft, heavy ground, he'll just keep sluicing through it and just galloping on at that one speed that's good enough. So Green Book tomorrow, I couldn't fault you if you fancied him, but like John, I'm going to side against him with a sporting bet on future investment. O'Sheen in the saddle. Hector Crouch last time, that's no good. Peter Crouch is no good in the saddle for anybody. And he was 9th in the Chester Cup, and I stated at the start of the show, the Chester Cup form is the race to follow, because that's the class race. That's the class. That's the class early season staying form. I always do it every year. I follow the Chester Cup form. I look for unlucky horses in running there. And I just felt future investment didn't get the race run to suit in the Chester Cup. I think he's in good form for Ralph Rafe. And he's my sporting small each way selection. So we'll move on to the 3 o'clock race, the Silver Bowl, a very valiant, traditionally valuable handicap, run over the mile. This year's worth a lot less. And this is where I've got a problem, because the Silver Bowl, John, would normally be contested by 16 really absolutely brilliantly bred 3-year-olds being laid out. And now we've got 10 runners, and it's a disgrace of a renewal. John.
Was on the cusp of being a Jersey Stakes trial, this, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like previous winners, you know, I mean, there's plenty went on to do something. I think Home Affairs won this, actually, not so long ago. Johnston's won it with Russell Matt. I think that was quite our age. Shatters for Alan King, you know what I mean? Gosh. When you look at this lot, God help you.
I agree. I totally agree.
I'll make it fairly simple, really. Ran the bag, won very nicely on soft at Thirsk. I think it's got a lot more to offer. The stable's in brilliant nick. That'll do, mate. So
John back in blogger mode for the Silver Bowl.
Yeah.
He sorted you out there. And that was, if you listen to John, he's fairly confident there. And I do believe that John is confident on Radoberg to dispose of what he describes as scrap in the race. And I can't disagree with that. But I will mention one thing. C-Set, owned by Nick Bradley Racing, trained by Richard Fay, currently around the 11-1 mark. It's up significantly in class. But I'll challenge anyone to watch that last sort of furlong and a half last time and think, how does this win nearly 5 lengths? It's not a miler for me. It's more of a mile and a quarter horse, but it's bred to devour this soft ground. Fastnet Rock wouldn't bass it. I'm not saying he's going to win this, because am I backing him? Not really. I might have a little nibble if the prices are there. But C-Set for me, of Richard Fay's, I think he's going to be a really, really nice horse this summer over a mile and a quarter with a little bit of juice in the ground. I want to see him on good to firm. I'd like to see good to soft ground. And I think C-Set over a mile and a quarter will be sort of like in the 90s come the close of play at the curtain fall of the flat season. So that's that. I'm not saying back him here, but I'm just saying keep a watch on C-Set for your trackers. Right, we'll move on to the Sandy Lane Stakes. So Michael Stout should want to win this every year. So I mean, Sandy Lane, Barbados, the connection, you know, but he's not here. So the Sandy Lane 6 furlongs, Group 2, Class 1 event, 7-2 favourite, Dragon Symbol, trained by Archie Watson. John.
I think last time Michael Stout had a runner in this. I think. Well, I don't think he'd have a licence till long. To be honest.
Did he run Haunting Beauty in this?
Not sure.
Do you remember that? Haunting Beauty. Yeah, sprinter of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you count them on one hand, couldn't you?
Mm.
Right. Mudgebar, decent on soft, improving. Also, Light Refrain and Kulthum, who is also a bit useful on soft. I think it lies between those three, myself.
Okay.
And I'd probably be inclined to side with Mudgebar, despite it being Charlie Hills and Dane O'Neill, who I thought had an absolutely disgusting race yesterday on one of the aforementioned Mr. Stout.
He's getting terrible. He is getting terrible.
Well, he's
becoming like Gary Carter and Steve Brown. He's the next Gary Carter, Steve Brown.
He eased off, and he got nutted.
Yeah.
And he didn't get done because he's a nice lad. The establishment like him. But
We all felt your pain at Chelmsford last night. I mean,
You could have done it for that last night.
Absolutely. Right, 3:35 8 up. Yes, sir. We're here, and I've got a really good selection here. Dragon Symbol. I know it's favourite. I know people might say you're turned into Blogger Stallion. No, I'm not. I said after Kempton, I said this horse is extremely serious. It's a serious animal. It destroyed Jadwal, giving it £6, right, with equal trips. So basically, gave £6 to Jadwal, destroyed it by 5. What did Jadwal do? Came out, run second to Jumbie. You know just narrowed by Jumbie last week. I mean, basically that horse rated 87. It slammed a horse 5 lengths, giving it 6. That's now rated 87. I mean, that puts it right there for starters on the Billy Idol, right? So then goes to Hamilton. I didn't think he got the run of the race. They dropped it back to 5, I think, just for experimental purposes, really. And it absolutely just destroyed them. I honestly think I think this is Group 1. I do. Dragon Symbol is my best bet of the weekend, and I think there's no problem with soft ground. Cable Baits have been going very, very well on soft ground. This horse just absolutely loves racing, loves it, loves the game. It's like one of these. It's like Brian Jacks doing the squats job on.
His oranges.
Yeah, he's Brian Jacks doing the squats on Superstar. This horse is like that.
He must have been incredible at oral section now. Did you notice how he used to eat them oranges? he used to bite the top off and then get the rest of the orange out through the hole.
Yeah. So
his missus must have been cloud 9 all the time. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, Jeff. Right, 4:10 here up. We'll try and. I've got images again in my mind. This is the problem. I do shows with you, and I get images, and this is what's like wrong because I'm now staring at images of what Brian Jacks is doing with an orange and some 80s bird. Right. We go on to the 4:10 at 8 up, which is the Temple Stakes, a Group 2 event over 5 furlongs. Liberty Beach is 2-1 favourite. John Quinn and Jason Hart combination. They'll be hoping to get off to a flyer with this lovely filly. By the way, out of these 7 runners, where are the quick male horses, John? It's all the fillies. The fillies and mares are faster than the colts and the geldings.
There must be selling them all for expert, I think.
King Kong. All off to King Kong. Yeah.
That'll be it. Get them all over there, I think. Making it count. Key Amaro for me. It's Dodds. It's held up a long first time out. We know it can get them ready. This one's a bit skittish in its manner and everything, actually. I think probably first time out for the time to get it. Seems okay on soft ground. I wouldn't bank on it completely, but I think it's alright on soft ground. And I think this could be one for the snake-like Mulrennan to boat home.
Yeah, I'm turning to Blogger Stallion here. Blogger Stallion bait here, surely. Liberty Beach, surely it has to be. I mean, if you look at it, so keep busy. They ran at the Longchamps in the Abbey, and unfortunately Tom Eves was denied his 17th Abbey winner on glass slippers, and Liberty Beach was 3rd. Keep Busy was 5th, and I just like Liberty Beach on like really deep ground. I just think that's her barrow. I think she likes that little bit of give underfoot.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm a Liberty Beach fan, but is there much value at 2-1? No. I'll tell you what, I've priced this race up. I've actually done a tissue, and I made Liberty Beach about 7-4. So 2-1, 7-4. I mean, we can all have pace and watch the race with interest. I believe. Right, we'll go to the Premier meeting of the day, which is the Ascot of the North, of course, which is York, and we'll go to their fair for our final bit of UK business before we tackle the Guineas, the Irish Guineas. I mean, that's what it's all about this weekend. Jim Bolger. So we go to the 240. Nasty Jim. 240 York. We've got the mile and 6 furlongs William Hill Bromley Cup Filly Stakes, and we've got a favourite in the Roger Varian train, Believe in You, at the 2-1 mark, John.
This is a strange sort of race for me. I mean, I'm not sure on the rating on this thing whether it's gonna handle York soft.
York soft.
Yeah. As you may realise, there's a theory going around now where York soft is unlike any other soft. Macaulay, on the other hand, has been around York a copious amount of times, and given the fact that there's enough runners just for quarterly odds 1, 2, or the main even place 3 places if you can adjust it on Sportsbook, I cannot see more than 2 of these beating this, around 5-1. It looks an absolute filthy each-way steal for the Turnbulls and our misery got O'Meara and David Nolan. Plenty going for it, I think, in view of the fact that it is the one with proper York form.
There are too many miserable gingers in this life, as we well know.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. But Macaulay, you make a solid case because Macaulay's got good course form. I do think that's vital at York sometimes. Like we've said before, when this ground's cutting up,
there's 7 runners here, and 2 of these are going to get beat a furlong. We don't know which 2, but one of them won't be Macaulay.
Yeah, you're right. And like Jessie Harrington, we tipped up KM Pepper the other day. I didn't realise she sent over about 20 odd to York. Never had a winner.
Yeah.
Never had a winner. So that had put me off. Obviously, they don't handle the Dick Turpin Knaves by a marshland. So just on that stat alone, just how KM Pepper ran the other day was kind of a bit. Was it KM Pepper?
No, she sent the sub, didn't she?
Oh, that was it. The sub, the one that we also back. Yeah,
it was a good job she sent the sub. We'd have got claimed out on KM Pepper.
Yeah, we'd have gone treble and double. Yeah, absolutely. So Jessie's got a terrible record sending him to York, and I'd be with John actually on Macaulay. I think that's the little bit of value there at around the 5-1.
Look at what else you've got. You've got the baby Joseph.
Yeah.
Who probably hasn't had one at the frame at York yet.
No.
Andrew Balding, who doesn't give a monkey's where he runs them. I mean, this thing's come off the all-weather and a run round Ascot in the soft. And then Ewan Morrison, who let us down rather badly at the Dante meeting with another York debutant. So,
No. I'm a Macaulay fan.
I think we're on solid ground there.
Yeah, we move on to the final terrestrial UK TV race of the day, which is the easily solvable 5 furlongs WilliamHill.com best odds guaranteed handicap, and Tim Easterby has the favourite with Copper Knight 11-2. John, any thoughts?
It's a funny old situation, this, with Tim and Thick there and everybody, really. Now, Copper Knight managed to get away with it at the Dante meeting. Did pretty well, to be fair. Now, Tim could offer no explanation for Count Dorsey's miserable effort. I thought he just got checked up a bit on occasion there, and also when he did get a chance to I was just saying to back off it a bit, just trailing ground a bit. I think Count Dorsey will beat Copper Knight.
Interesting.
But the one I'm interested in, actually, is the widely travelled Sunday Sovereign. That's had its say to Tim now. It's been all over the place. It started off at Toomey's, ran 4 times for him, then went to Roger Varian's, had 1 run at Sandown, and he said, bugger this, he sent it to Tim. Now he was a little float up last year at the Avon where it was utterly unfancied, 22-1, Josh Bryan had it. Now, this year it's only had the sighter. It's got beat less than nothing, 4 3/4 lengths by Copper Knight at the Dante meeting. Now, the amount that Tim's have been improving for a run, you can easily say that overcoming that. And in addition to that, I think some of the form it's shown with the dig in the ground, where it's won twice in Ireland, yielding and soft, genuinely soft, I would add. I think we've got a bit of something to bet on there. It's done a straight figure of 93. According to the Racing Post, rather in Ireland, which I all think you can pretty much say they can hit 103 if that's the situation. And this has to run well for me.
Well, I like your argument, because it would draw on very stand side for the last run.
Yeah.
I have no real opinion. I just want to warn punters on this. Obviously, Copper Knight's still well enough 90. It was in the hundreds last year, so I wouldn't put anyone off Copper Knight. But for the reason, there is a strong northwesterly. I sound like who was it? Who was on the mic? You know, the fog. Remember the film, the fog bank coming. You know, if you've seen the horror film, The Fog, it's like the fog bank. This is like, it's a strong northwesterly in the faces. So 2/3 in the faces for that sprint. So if they go bananas.
You know what would have enhanced that film? If it had been Laura Tobin from GMTV doing the weathery bits.
You love Laura, don't you?
Yeah, I think she's got a good pint.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So anyway, so beware of that northwesterly, and we swiftly move on because I ain't got a selection there. John has put up a useful choice there. We go to the 2 Guineas of the weekend to finish this podcast, and the first one is the 2,000 Guineas on the Saturday, which is the 320, which is running a bog. The Irish gypsies can't get their caravans out of their gardens. It's all waterlogged, John. There'll be no customers.
It's looking a bit icky, isn't it? I mean, what do you do in these situations, really? Do you side with Jim, or do you side with Jim? Because to me, Jim's horses wouldn't dare not run a race. Max Swiney last time didn't run a race. And Jim went straight into the stewards and said that this horse had copious amounts of smock coming down his nose. So he will be expecting an improved performance from Max Swiney. I know Kevin's picked Poetic Flair, but I think he's picked Poetic Flair when the requirement might have been only getting 10 furlongs. you might need something that gets a bit further in this attritional ground at the Curragh now. Plus, McSwaney probably didn't give him a great failure the other day when it was off colour. Poetic Flyers won a Guineas for him, so how do you get off that, really? I'm chucking in with McSwaney because I think he's the sort of dyed-in-the-wool, battle-hardened shithouse you might just require in these conditions.
We've done it. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. It's a Barsteward special. McSwaney's the bet of the weekend. We've done it. Me and John don't confer. When John comes up with a decent price selection above blogger prices, we go balls deep. We dip them into the frying pan. We dip them wherever it needs to be. We hang them out to the swords. We do whatever we have to do. And McSwaney is the bet of the weekend simply because of the ground. McSwaney thrives on this surface, would gallop all day. And literally, you saw it in the Racing Post Trophy. They beat One Ruler, no problem, easily, really. And simply, these horses aren't really bred to handle the slot like this. They don't train classics. Aidan O'Brien does not train for horses to win classics on heavy. And old Jim will have this rippling fit.
Here's Jim's quote here. McSwaney had nasal discharge for a week after the Derrinstown, but he has made a quick recovery and we are happy to let him run.
Oh, we'll have.
Both horses are well and the ground is what it is for them. We can do nothing about the weather, says firm God bother Jim. Yes.
So McSwaney is our Barsteward special. We don't have many. Not McSwaney is a Barsteward special. 8-1 each way, a pleasure. We have to go each way. You'll be collected. We're sure of that. Me and John, we're in on this. We go to the 1,000 guineas on the Sunday for the final input of the day. The 3:15 at the Curragh, the Tassels Irish 1,000. Let's hope this all goes ahead because we need the McSwaney winnings to play up, John. Any thoughts on the Irish 1,000?
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be the thing, won't it? We'll have to go and get weighed in off McSwaney, and people will want to bet on the 1,000. The problem being, these are a filthy lot, aren't they? Really. Feather over, probably a little bit below form when there's been genuine slopping around. I'd say Aidan's horses have a bit to prove on proper slop. I mean, Joan of Arc, the one with the famous pedigree, she's probably about the best equipped, but if anybody's going to take 5 to 2 about her, they probably want certified. The Baby Joseph horse 2-1. Come on now, the form he's in. You know, I literally don't think you could have much of a bet in this, really. If you absolutely put a gun to my head, I'd probably say a few shekels on Zappy's Pride each way. But I think at least
Jesse horse, yeah.
At least going the right way. Should handle the conditions. We'll see it out. But no, I mean, really, I think it's a terrible race, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, it's a very substandard renewal of the Irish. I think we're struggling in a lot of the 3-year-old fillies and colts this year. Very sad to see. It's really poor for the season. I'm amazed to see the prices, and this is how bad it is that I'm very keen on Fev Rover at the prices, because the reason being she's very effective on the surface. I'm pretty certain she is. She loves it. And I thought the ground was too fast at Newmarket in the Guineas. And sadly, the detestable Nick Bradley, he's likely to get or could get a 1,000 guineas win in Ireland. So, yeah, the Fev Rover would be an each way knocking bet for me. But, John, your best bet, what's your best bet of the weekend?
I think the Almira stare at York, McJowie, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, you can't say that because We've got the special. We've got the special. It's Max Swiney. Nasty Jim's cleaning up. You know, I mean, he's probably running Poetic Flair as a pacemaker, John.
You wouldn't be surprised with Jim, would you?
I mean, it's Max Swiney's day. He's won the English Guineas, the Irish Guineas. You know, I mean, it's Max Swiney all the way. It's a Barstewards special. Make no mistake. John's best bet is Macaulay at York, but there is a Barstewards special. We both agree on the Irish 2,000 Guineas that Max Swiney is a very, very strong each way bet at around the 8-1 mark. I'm going to finish that show here right now. I hope you've enjoyed it. Me and John are back on Sunday evening for more slander and terrible abuse of any. Get your questions in, by the way. Make sure you get your questions in. It'll be fun. That's all from me and John. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Bye for now.